Yes, any of the councillors have questions? On page 7, the cashless sewerage scheme, I did have discussions and also sent an email to our local state member, and he suggested that a letter be written on behalf of the council to him requesting further finance. And I also would like to suggest that letter also include the federal member, Barnaby Joyce. I think that it's not only an embarrassment to us as councillors, but also to our council that this has gone on, and I have expressed very much deep dissatisfaction with Cardno that it has taken them so long and have not come up with a proper design that can not only. Yes, who's on? Where'd that come from? Okay. I think the last infrastructure meeting, I think, or that the general manager said that they had requested a different type of sewerage scheme. Do anybody know anything about that?
Yeah, that was discussed at the previous meeting. If you refer to the previous minutes, you'll see it was listed there.
Yep. Okay. So you've taken notice on that.
I have indeed. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Any other further questions or comments on ISC 3.2?
I move it.
Okay, you got your light. Yeah, okay. Seconder, please. Councillor McPhee.
Can you please use your microphone so for the benefit of the recording?
I second.
Did you?
What Councillor Clout has moved.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's important that we have our microphones on when we're moving and seconding or making comment. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, I think the ayes have it. Okay, we turn over now to page 11. IC 3.3.
So through you, Mr. Chair, once again, this is the Works Infrastructure Services Programme. We'll take it as read. That includes the appendices, which includes the grading programme and the other programmes. So if you have any questions through the chair, please let us know.
I have one question through the chair. Regards to the sporting grounds and venues, the customer or the unsatisfactory cleanliness concerns, is that a specific venue or is that just spread around everywhere?
Through the chair, this is for all venues. If you needed to know a specific venue, I can go back through and find that out.
Through the chair, it's not so crazy, but I was just more wondering if it's, for example, after there was a football game, or if there are specific areas that we need to then go and speak to committees about. I'm down at, for example, Bill Rose Complex quite regularly, and after a certain sports, there is a lot of rubbish. And I'm just wondering if we need to then work with our committees and our associations on that.
Through the chair, I can take that on notice. Yep.
Okay. Any further comment or questions of the directors? Okay, I'll have a mover and a second for ISC 3.1.
I'll move it.
No, Councillor McPhee, seconded by Councillor Clout. Any further questions or comments? All those in favour, please say aye or raise your hand. All those against, I think the ayes have it. If you'd like to turn over to page 26, Strategic Capital Works update. Karen Davies, she has got a lot to say today.
Oh, I love a good chat. You know me, Mr. Chair. So as it says, it is the Strategic Capital Works update. We will take it as read. You will notice the appendices as well, which includes the lovely, colourful Capital Works delivery programme. So we're going to take that as read as well. However, if you've got questions, we won't go through line by line, but if you have questions and through the chair, please let us know.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, one quick question. Are we going to have official openings for a lot of these projects that were funded?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, we are. The idea is that we group them together so that we can get the relevant personnel down on one day to do that.
Okay, look, we might just quickly look at each page and you can bring us up to date. We're not going to go through them, but 32, anything on 32? Page 33. Page 34. I just have a page on a question on page 34. That's on item 15. I thought that we were going to have the information boards erected out there too. How are we going with those? Because it has to be completed. It has been completed. Now, I think the street has been completed, and it's very interesting to note that the controversy that there was regarding the street, I've had no complaints since it was put in as just ordinary concrete. Nobody's complained about it at all, which is very pleasing. And I think, Sam, you did a wonderful job in negotiating the complaints and also doing a good job. Now, you know anything about the completed information boards that were supposed to be ready and up by November, but you know anything about that?
Through the chair, I'll have to follow that up.
Would you please? Yes. I think there are 10 or 11 boards that were supposed to have been printed, and I think they would have been printed. Are they done? Are they at Merriwar and the stands as well? If you
I'll follow
you'll
that
follow
up.
that up. Well, that's great. Thank you. Okay. Anything on page 35? I have one for Sam, the Merriwar Racecourse amenities. How are we going with that? Is it completed? Because I think the races are coming up in 6 weeks' time.
Through the chair, I would say 95%. So the septic tanks went in last week. So just with this wet weather, just trying to tidy up a few things.
Soil.
Yep.
It's not
So
a good
95%.
combination.
It should be, well, it will be completed by
I think it's the
time of the
26th or 23rd, 26th of April, I think.
25th. I think it's the
The
exact date.
races. I'm not sure about
Yeah.
that, but anyway, that's fine. So you've got it in hand. I thank you for that. Okay. Page 35, anything on that? Anything further? 36?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, one probably to the director, Hunter Road upgrade, the $2 million or 2.1. We are not allowed to start that until we get full funding. Is that correct? We can't spend the 2 million?
That's correct. We do need to, we can, if we've got a promise of funding, then great, but we can go to tender, but we can't award anything.
Okay, thank you.
Any further comment on page 36, page 37? The item 31, village reticulation, alternate service strategy presented to IOC October 2020. Any update on that?
The community consultation is still in progress, so there'll be
progress.
update after
All right.
that. It's going to happen in the next 2 months.
Yeah, so it will be in progress for the next 2 months.
The community consultation
Right.
will be in progress in the next
Okay.
2 months.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chair, it should be noted that that's actually the second round of community consultation, just to make sure that we do it correctly.
We've dealt with item 32, case sewage system. Yeah. Turn over to page 38. Anything on that comment or questions? On page 39, the drought management. I always believe that it's a good idea to have a drought management plan in when it's raining so much, because when it does happen, we have that in place. Now, the proposed water restriction level framework report due in March, where are we up to with that?
So we're still working on that with GHD, Singleton and Musselbrook. We all work together. We've received a first draft and we're just reviewing it and providing comment back to GHD. We've got some recommendations around their suggestions.
All right, okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments? On page 39, we move to page 40. And page 41. There being no further comment or questions, could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved
Second.
Councillor Collison and seconded by Councillor McPhee. All those in favour, please say aye, raise your hand. Those against, I think the ayes have it. Thank you. Now, if you'd like to turn over to page 42, ISC 3.5, Karen Davies and Gavin Newton. Okay. Receive the report and note the information. Now, look, do you have any further comment, Gavin?
Through the chair, no, not at this point. It's pretty, as Chris said in his report, it's pretty comprehensive of where we're up to. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
I have a question, and it has concerned me for some time. We are now only 75% in the design report. When are we going to get 100%? It's said in March, we've been putting it back and putting it back and putting it back. As you would know, it's a very hot question in the Merriwa area. And once this, we have got to get this out. Otherwise, we are just not fulfilling our role, I think. So
Through the chair, I got an updated program yesterday.
yes,
And that's slightly moved back by about a week. So we should receive 100% detailed design by the 28th of March, which is a week later than what they said at the December update. So we've only lost a week in the last 3 months.
okay. And Madam Director, is that going to be ready then to go to tender so we can get some idea of the
We
final cost?
actually need funding first. So we've been discussing this at length at every single Infrastructure Services Committee and at council meetings. We lawfully cannot go to tender until we have funding. So whilst the design should be ready to go, we still need the funding, which I believe our good mayor and our general manager are speaking to the appropriate personnel about that.
Well, okay, I have to take that as you say, but I think it will be very much hotly disputed if the report is not forthcoming.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I must back the director up there. Yes, the designs are a little bit disappointing, but I think made it very clear. We need the money to make it very clear. So that's GM and I'm going to have to get on to our politicians and try and source that funding. And just another quick one. Some councillors got a letter from Annie Kreft over the weekend. I think I'll forward that to you, Director. Well, we'll forward it to you. I think I'll let you as the staff answer that email. We want to have all the same story. We don't want to be sending back individual emails, so I'll forward that to you. Thank you.
Yes, I received that also, and out in my area, it is very disappointing that there's such a negative attitude still prevails. And I think that I would like to say that council has been very vigorous in supporting the redesign of that road. Going back over it doesn't fix the road, but we have been very strong in the fact that we have got to get it fixed. And I think that I've been very vocal on that, and I know Councillor Collison has been the same way, as I suggest that all of our councillors would support that. We can't keep looking back, but as I have stressed earlier, we have to have this in. I cannot accept this delay, continuous delay by GHD. They're an international firm, consulting firm. They have got to be able to deliver.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to take the opportunity to thank the people of Merriwell for coming to the community update that we held recently. They were very forthcoming and open about their concerns, and I believe that all the parties that were there were able to address them and be very transparent. And nothing's changed since that point. All the information is still available. People that would like more updates are welcome to download this report, which is always on the website every month. There is a monthly MR358 report. And people, anyone, absolutely anyone can download that report and have a look at it. So I would encourage people to do that as well.
Okay, yes. I think also that if we're sort of on to, anyway, that's been very good. And also, this is perhaps, it's on the MR or the road out there. I'd like to commend Sam Wooden for his reply regarding and his what he's going to do for the Tour de Merriwell. That's very important to Merriwell, but also he's just ensured, I had a short discussion with him earlier, but his email stated very clearly that council was going to put in place warning signs and anything that they thought could cause a hazard to the bike riders. So thank you, Sam, for attending to that. And I think it's very clear that council is aware of any defect that cannot be remedied by that time, and so we should be thankful for that. Councillor McPhee.
Mr. Chairman, do you think we should maybe move this agenda point? Yeah.
Yes.
It's on 358, so we should probably stick to that and move that. Yep.
All right. Okay. So a mover and a seconder, please.
I move it. Oh, I second it.
I like this. This is good. Okay. Moved, Councillor Clout or Councillor McPhee, and seconded by Councillor Clout. Thank you. All right. I'm looking between the two ladies. All those in favour, please say aye. Raise your hand. All those against, I think the ayes have it. Thank you. All right. Page 49, ISC 3.6, answer to councillors' questions. That the committee receive the report.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if anyone's unhappy with the answers or doesn't agree with them, please make a note of that on the minutes. I'll leave it with you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Point 5 has been dealt with. I have point 8. In fact,
Sorry, Mr. Chair, which?
So I'm on page 53 on answer to my questions, and point 8 on page 53. The land near the Merriwell sewage plant will soon be coming up. Well, now I assume that that was. I had discussions with the owner, and he did give me the phone number of his son who is handling that. And anyway, it's not in my phone, so I will find that out, because this may be something that council may be a benefit to council in obtaining the right of way. I think that they're talking about, but they are very reasonable people, and so I think that we would that would be it would have a satisfactory outcome. I have a question on point 8. Merriwell Drive Reviver, how will we move it? I think the tender will provide required information. Has that tender gone out?
Through the chair, not to date.
Not to date. Okay, that's fine. Let's answer the question.
Do you need a mover?
Yes.
Is a mover?
Yes.
I second it.
We were just talking about the general manager, but never mind. We will forgive him. Point 15.
Would you like to show?
I'm sorry. Did you?
I thought we were going to.
We've got a mover and a seconder, Mr. Chair.
Have we? Okay. All right. Who's the mover? Councillor McPhee and Councillor Clout. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
As against, I think the ayes have it. Okay, I have omitted to do that, so it's my fault. Anyway, I will continue if I may. Point 15 on page 54. Sam, you did say that you couldn't attend to that Whitney's Bow Creek, Whitney's Creek crossing. Yes, okay, that's fine.
Through you, Mr. Chair,
Well-
happy to take any questions outside of the meeting now that we've moved and seconded that item.
Okay. Anyway, I'll talk to him. Yeah, okay. All right, there now. The mayor just informed me earlier before the meeting that the councillor questions now will be required to be sent in 5 days prior to, that'd be 5 working days prior to our infrastructure meeting. But today the councillor questions will be allowed because there's no prior knowledge. So if we can do that, that will not inhibit us asking questions as we have done today on the particular agenda items. They're two totally separate things. And so it will be incumbent on me especially and those other councillors that ask considerable questions that I have to think those out and put them in writing, but look, I think it's all very good and something that we can do and would also then allow our directors, instead of looking at them in a way of, in another way, would allow that to have the answers ready. Councillor McPhee.
I am going to take the liberty of asking a question for the last time. I'd just like to ask, due to the wet weather, and I know that that's going to put all of your great work behind again, are we going to perhaps put something out on social media just to preempt expectations on that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's a very good observation from you, Councillor McPhee. Yes, that's standard practice for us. Normally what we wait to do is, in terms of remedial works, we go and assess them and then that will inform the schedule going forward. So we will be putting something out again. I think you'll see in our historical social media posts that we have done it in the past.
Do we have any councillor questions? Any further councillor questions, Councillor McPhee? Councillor Cloud, do you have any questions? Mr. Mayor?
No, thanks, Mr. Chair. Well done. 35 minutes.
Hang on, I haven't closed the meeting. Thank you. I am still in control. Thank you. Well, anyway, look, I have a few questions. It was interesting in my drive. I went home from Scone, the Yarrandai Road. Now, the Yarrandai Road is not a very good road. It's equal to some of the bad roads we've got at Merriwood. I'm sure you've got some in the eastern part as well. It would appear that it had been graded not that long ago, but there are sections of it that are you know, really almost a sludge mesh. So what can I ask Sam, what can be done? Is it scheduled for another grade?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to actually answer this question.
Okay.
We do have over 2,000 kilometres of roads throughout the Shire. The Shire spans 8,000 square kilometres. Each road is rated. So it might be a rural 1, it might be a rural 2, 3, 4. It's rated dependent on the volume of traffic, whether it's sealed or unsealed, if it's 2 lanes or less, etc., etc. So, for example, Yarrandai Road, I can take a guess and say it's a rural 3. I can see Sam nodding at me, which would mean that we probably only are meant to grade that every 18 months or so. That being said, you will note that we have had exceptionally wet summer and now going into autumn, and that does impact the issues. That combined with the flood recovery means that we are yet again having to review all the roads and all the infrastructure and ensure that we bring them up to standard. Now, we do have limited funds. We do not get funds from any source other than ratepayers for maintenance. All the funding we get is for capital works. So we've got to be very careful about what we do and how we do it. That being said, I would encourage anyone, including councillors present and anyone watching this recording, that if you do have a road or any type of infrastructure close to you that you believe would benefit from some sort of upgrade, whether it be safety barriers or ceiling, etc., then please do put that in writing in the up and coming Depop submissions, and that will inform our programme for the next several years.
Thank you. I do agree. The other matter is, of course, that how are we going with the CRMs? Because many of these are really CRMs, but they're the complaint that I've had said, well, no, they are not acknowledged. Now, can we somehow get them upgraded so that there is a paper trail, so that they have been there, they have been lodged, and people know you can go back?
Through you, Mr. Chair, anyone that personally submits a CRM, so not through a councillor, but personally submits it themselves via the website, the phone, or in person here, can actually, if they submit their email address and or their mobile phone number, they will automatically receive an update. A, when they submit the CRM, it'll be sent to them via an email or a text, and B, when the CRM gets closed down. So there's plenty of options there.
That's
Mr.
right.
Chair, can I request that if you
Yes.
get any requests from a resident that says they haven't had a response, can you send that through to me personally? Because it's something that I've been working with the directors and our customer service team fairly intensely over the last 6 months at least, to try and address what the director's just been saying about getting a personal response to every single person. I think sometimes the responses are almost throwaway comments. I haven't had a response, but we've been looking at where the gaps are. So if you can please get me the details, send them through, because we'd like to follow each one of those ones up, please.
Look, I agree. Thank you. I'll certainly be doing that. But also, I do agree that, as you have just said, there is a throwaway line. Well, they didn't get a response, which is in lots of cases not correct. However, it would seem that most of them are when they phone in rather than send a CRM, because if they send them in by email, then their email address is already there, which is easy for a reply to be sent to them.
And
But
Snaps in Solve works really well.
okay, good. Yeah. Okay. The other ones anyway. So having looked at those, if we have any further further questions, do we have any further questions? We're ahead of time. I noticed the mayor. I'll declare the meeting closed so that the mayor can be first out the door. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for the comments that have been made. And I think if we adhere to what we